Attempt number 4 for the part 3 / part 5 of why I made the term "Let me help you lunatics," or at least what it means, because this happened after I made the term. So, due to the situation I'm in, there was this whole situation months and months back. I was still 17 then. This was still like early 17, I think. So, I was living on this other side of town that I mentioned in the video I have uploaded now, which may be uploaded by the time I'm done with this, but it's not really working. But it's titled Ageism with something about ageism and homeless kids and racial stuff you may run into in these types of situations. And I mentioned like how there was this one side of town that I used to live on where there were these 2 restaurant people that didn't like me, and it was a lot of stuff with that. I had never talked to or met either of them, but we had some interactions and they always gave me looks even before these. Honestly, one of them I really didn't have an interaction with. She would just slam the doors to her bakery and lock them every time she saw me walk in the shopping center, because I would go places in that area. And I have never went in that place, but she just, I don't know. So yeah, when I was staying on that side of town, I had met these food truck people. Basically, they would see me walking around a lot, and one day they had approached me. I knew it was going to be some bullcrap. Honestly, I really thought that the husband was going to be a child molester, but luckily he wasn't. Well, the quote-unquote husband. I don't even know if they're really married or not, but luckily he wasn't, but they actually definitely were exactly the other thing I expected, which they weren't even full-blown "let me help you lunatics." They were in a way, because they were trying to talk me into doing something that, one, had already been tried, and 2, would put me at risk, which was the CPS route, which I'm going to get into later because it has a lot to do with why they eventually started to be really weird towards me, even still till today. Well, it has something to do with it, because they really just had a lot of assumptions about who I was and what my situation was that they made up in their heads. Basically, it seems like they thought I was a hoe, but yeah, they were really childish. So he wasn't a child molester, but they were something, all right. So anyway, they approached me because they see me walking around, and they were like, well, the husband, he didn't even know English, to be honest, but he got his quote-unquote wife to tell me about how he was homeless when he was younger, and he had seen me walking around, and he wanted to give me some free tacos because he knows the walk that I was doing, which is a walk that you do when you don't have anybody, you don't have anywhere to go. And so, yeah, it started off like that. I already knew this was going to be some mess because I already know how these situations go. But when he offered to let me work at the food truck, I knew that it was going to be some mess, but I was like, if I could at least do it for today, it'll be good because I need the money. That's why I did it. I already knew it was going to be some bull crap that was probably going to turn into a "let me help you lunatic" situation, or worse. Because like I said, I originally thought that he was going to be a chummer or something, but he wasn't. In fact, later on down the line, they accused me of being one. But of course, when people see people in these types of situations, they automatically assume that you've been sex trafficked, essayed, beat on, beat up, kidnapped, and all that stuff. So they already assume that you have all types of mental problems from trauma, and that you may be paranoid or violent because of all the things that they assume have happened to you. And the fact that people even think like that just shows that people know that there should be services to help, but they don't care enough to really push for that to happen. And so, yeah, people automatically assume stuff, especially when you're a homeless kid. They assume that more stuff has happened to you because of the fact that you're not old enough to work or really do anything. And all that, and then depending on your situation, well, there's a lot with that, but people assume stuff, and yeah. So I agreed to work for them because they said they wanted to like let me work at their food truck and supposedly live with them for as long as I need. First of all, I really didn't want to agree to that, but at that point in time, my tent had broke. In fact, my tent had broke a little before this. And can't really remember exactly what. Oh yeah, I was staying on this mountain type thing, and then I got kicked out. And while I was taking my tent down, the pole had popped, and then I didn't have a tent for a while after that. I did still have my sleeping bag though, at least, but I don't think that was when I had got the good one. I think that was way before I got the good one. Wait a minute, cause my throat kind of hurts. Okay. So that's why I was out there in the first place when I was walking around and they had came up to me. And that's also why. No, it's not. I agreed to go to their house because I wanted to take a shower, and I had realized that they were. I mean, I knew there were going to be some. I knew it was going to be some fake mess with them, especially the quote unquote wife, because she just had a childish, toxic. Not. I wouldn't even. She just had like one of those elementary school you're weird bully type mentalities. Not like she was stuck up, but she just they are childish and they were childish and they still are. To make a long story short, oh my gosh. To make a long story short, so yeah. Anyway, after this, what happened was I went to their house to shower, but I hadn't showered in months on end. Probably like, I don't even know. It seemed like a year. I mean, of course I was still doing the wash up thing, but there were no public showers on the East Coast, and of course, I still hadn't even found the resource center yet. I don't think that even allowed people 15 to 24 on campus or inside. Once I found that, that's where I started going to shower, and I did know that the shelter didn't check IDs yet. And so I hadn't started going there to shower yet, which I didn't even find out about the fact that they even had day services till months after this, because I had actually signed the paper for this shelter way back in June of 2023 or July, but I didn't even know that I could just go sit there and charge my phone and stuff, and I didn't know how to get back there anyway, because the whole thing with the bus, which I mentioned in the ageism whatever in the world homeless video, I don't even remember what I titled it. So, yeah, so I wanted to take a shower, so I agreed to go to their house. I didn't plan on staying there, because I already knew that wasn't going to work out anyway. So, I took the shower. Their bathtub didn't really work, so it was clogged, and I was like, I wanted to clean the bathtub out, but they were like, no, because it'll eventually go down anyway. But I feel like that's embarrassing, though, because I already hadn't showered in like a year. And I had just been like having to do wash-ups and stuff, because there's nothing you can really do under 18. Honestly, when I was 16 and that lady was sneaking me to the hotel to shower, that was a really rare situation. And the only reason I even knew to even try asking about that is because of a comment that I had seen on YouTube or something once a few years back, where somebody was like, they would ask to get hotel rooms just to shower, and then the staff had eventually caught on to what they were doing. And so the staff would let them use already used but not cleaned yet hotel rooms to shower. And so that's how I knew what to ask for. But I mean, of course, that's only going to work with somebody who's even nice enough to do that, especially with the whole ageism stuff in society. So, yeah, I went to their house, and then I was supposed to work for them. And the thing is, I'm not really good with lying to people. And the stupid thing that I eventually did was admitted to them that the name I was going by wasn't my real name, because I felt guilty because I didn't want to like go to someone's house, even though I knew I was never going to move in with them, because I didn't even feel comfortable with that. But I felt guilty and I did that. That was stupid. But I think other bullcrap had already went off before they had even started to show how weird they really were. But I mean, I already expected it, but I just wanted to get some type of money, and then I didn't even expect to get paid anywhere near as much as I did, which was 150 or 158 or something like that. I was honestly only expecting to get paid like $15 in the end, cause that's how people do, usually. But I just needed the money then, cause I was trying to get a new tent, and I was saving up for other stuff, cause like I already had some money saved, and like I would just keep money on my Cash App account, and I would only spend money on toothpaste and floss and stuff like that, and food when I needed to spend money on food, because I always tried to get free food first. But this was way before I even knew where to even go to get food, which of course you can't really do under 18 anyway. So it's like when I did finally find the soup kitchens and stuff, I had to be scared to go there, and I had to look over my shoulder for in case someone called the police, because I already looked nowhere near 17 anyway. So that made it worse, because you already can't go to these types of places under 18, but looking younger than you actually are makes it worse. So anyway, what was the other thing? Oh yeah, and I think before the name thing had even happened, which was stupid, which is why I really have to stop feeling bad about stuff like that, because the thing is, people are already really fake and funny acting and really want to get over on people, and the least I could do is not feel bad about stupid stuff. So yeah, that was stupid, but I mean, like I said, I never was gonna move in with him anyway. Wouldn't even feel comfortable with something like that. Oh yeah, and they had told me about how they had kids, like after they had gave me a ride to 7-Eleven and were telling me about how the job worked and all that stuff. They had started telling me about how they had kids. So before I went to their house, I was assuming to be in like a house full of kids, but it was kind of like almost like a motel type apartment, and it was actually a 2-bedroom. Their kids didn't even live with them. And let me go ahead and say, if you're ever in like a Layla to late teen situation or anything like that, or really any situation where somebody calls themselves helping you, if they call themselves helping you, but they're not even nice to their own kids, or they don't even help their own kids, or their own kids don't even live with them, go ahead and know you're in for some mess. And so, yeah, they told me about how they had kids and about how their kids had to live with their grandma because they worked so much. Because they'd be in the food truck from like 10 a.m. till like 11 p.m. at night and stuff like that, which kind of worried me because I was like, am I supposed to be working that long too? And they had shown me pictures of their kids, and like the quote unquote wife had told me that she was homeless and kicked out too when she was younger, but she told me she just had never told her husband. And so when she told me that, I was like, this makes me wonder, because how long have you guys been married for you to have not told him this? Or are you even really married? And also, she looked way younger than he did. She claimed she just looked young. I don't know how true that was. I mean, she didn't look child young, but he was definitely in his 40s, and she looked like she was in like her late 20s or something. So it didn't look good. Maybe she was in her 30s or 40s or something. I mean, my parents look young, so yeah, I don't even know what else to say about that. But yeah, anywho, the husband was showing me videos of his son, and he was telling me about how stupid his son was and how his son was running around with guns and smoking weed, and he was like, I was in a bad situation when I was younger, but I was never this stupid. Look at him. He has a crazy haircut, and he has guns, and he smokes weed. And the husband was like, I never did drugs. I never smoked. And I was like, yeah, this is about to be some mess. But of course, I just wanted the paycheck. And let me go ahead and say that I don't ever purposely throw myself into dangerous situations. When I do throw myself into these toxic situations like this, it's only because I know that the person is safe enough to not like be a pedo, because like I said, I thought he was at first when I first seen him, but then I started to realize he wasn't, because I can tell stuff like that about people when first looking at them. But it was just he just looked tired, and I know that like from stuff that I've seen anyway, for whatever reason, pedos commonly like do drugs and their eyes are commonly red for whatever different reasons. And he was tired because they work so much and his eyes are red because of that. That's what made me think that. But then I started to realize he didn't even have that type of spirit on him. And he wasn't a pedo. They definitely were toxic though and childish. But yeah. So I know that the people are toxic, but they're safe enough. So that's why I even allowed this thing to like play out. I mean, maybe there was some magical thinking in there, but I already know how things can go, which is why I really do actually try to not talk to people at all and avoid people, but it's really hard. Especially when you need a couple dollars. So, yeah, he said all that stuff about his son, and yeah, that was it. They had, wait a minute, where am I? Wait a minute. Dang. Hold up. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention, when I got to their house, they told me that they had mice. That's kind of a side thing, though. And, trying to think of where to go next. They show me the errands they run where they go to, like, pick up all the stuff that they need for the tacos and all that. So they show me where they go, and I help them, like, load the truck and all that. I really wanted to help them clean the truck because the food truck was really dirty. And it was really bothering to me. And I had asked them about, like, if I could help clean whenever they clean. I didn't say it in, like, the rude way, obviously, but, I mean, for one, I had originally asked for cleaning work anyway, now that I'm remembering this, because I know that's the one thing that I could really do well while dissociating and having flashbacks. But yeah, anyway. So, got in the food truck, started doing the job. They asked me about why I want to go with CPS, and I was like, well, for one, CPS is a child trafficking organization, and I know, like, how those things go, and people commonly get put in homes where, like, they're beat on and molested. Not to mention, CPS had already been involved multiple times throughout my life, and so I explained the whole Cash for Kids system thing, which a lot of people don't like. And people will automatically try to make you feel like something's wrong with you, you're paranoid or something when you talk about that stuff, because people don't want to admit that stuff happens. But also, they had like a racial inferiority complex because basically they were illegal immigrants. Well, not basically, they were. And so they felt like America was like this lost city of El Dorado, and like it was their only hope, and like that stuff could never happen in America, which just showed that they must have just climbed over the border, because most of the homeless people around here, 18 plus or younger, are foster kids. They're dumped out foster kids. So for you to think that I'm just paranoid for the things that I'm saying just shows that you haven't looked around you. I also told them about like the racist stuff that happened, and like, which I guess I shouldn't have, but I mean, it's really not my fault that people are ignorant and brainwashed and people struggle so much with the truth about what goes on in the world. I really shouldn't have to like be scared to say any and everything, especially when other people bring the topic up first and they ask me about it. I shouldn't have to be scared to respond because people are so scared to admit what actually goes on in the world or to accept what goes on in the world that they have to tell themselves that people who have been through these things or know people who have been through these things are just paranoid or scared of somebody or whatever. And so I told them about why I didn't want to go into CPS and about how I couldn't go into CPS anyway. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the racial stuff. I forgot that I had even brought that up. So I told them about the whole "go back to Mexico, you nigger" thing and all the different stuff that I had been told, even though I'm not even from Mexico. But of course, in their mind, the white people love us and we're white and they come buy our food because, of course, a lot of them think they're white. And so that was off putting to them. And so then there was some other stuff where, like, the husband didn't know English. And so they basically wanted me to, like, learn Spanish to really be able to do the job, to be able to communicate with him about who's ordering what. And I had to, like, learn how to write in Spanish and all that stuff that I wasn't going to be able to do, definitely not in that amount of time. And then another thing was that what was the other thing? Oh yeah, they were trying to act like I didn't know how to count or something. And so I would be counting people's change and all that, but they'd be standing behind me telling me that I needed to move faster. And then they would start asking me about whether I could count and whether I had graduated and all that stuff. And I was like, I can count, but you're, like, really rushing me right now. And so that happened. The learn Spanish thing happened. Then eventually, the husband asked me if I was a boy or a girl, because basically, I don't even know, it's always been an issue, but people can barely really tell if I'm a boy or a girl. And it's not even that I dress like a dude or any of that. People just, I think it's a lot of things, but I'm not even going to get into that. I don't really know, though, to be honest. But yeah, anywho, let me just keep going, because I really don't know. I don't even dress like a boy. But basically, the husband was like, are you a boy or a girl? And then I was like, I'm a girl, but why'd you ask that question? And I was like, I thought you already knew this. And so basically, him and his wife went on this whole bullcrap rant about how girls usually get kicked out for getting pregnant. And so they had made up this whole story in their head that I got kicked out for being pregnant, and that I was like, I don't even know what they thought I did with the baby. And I don't even think I look like I can carry a baby. But they just made up this whole story in their head, basically, that I was a hoe, to make a long story short. And so they would ask me questions about me being pregnant, about my baby, and about me being kicked out. I never said that I was kicked out. And then they started, like, accusing me of committing some crime and all that. And that happened. But to make a long story short, though, really what it was is that they thought I was gonna be somebody they were gonna be able to take advantage of by having me work for less money. They also thought that I was gonna be able to, like, babysit all their kids, cause they had, like, I don't even know how many kids they had, to be honest, but I would say 4 or more. Not like a whole bunch, but it was a couple. And I found that out because this whole thing had happened after I had mentioned, like, why I don't want to go into CPS and how that system goes. Where basically they believed that CPS was there to help people, which obviously just shows that they just crawled across the border. And so they were like, we don't really believe that that's true, and we feel like you may think that everybody's out to get you, and we don't think that our kids are safe around you. And they felt like I was gonna molest their kids too. So I'm a hoe. I have a baby that I'm hiding in a dumpster somewhere or something. I got kicked out because I'm a hoe, and I'm gonna molest their kids that they wanted me to babysit, even though I never signed up to babysit their kids anyway. And the reason that they wanted me to babysit their kids was because their kids live with the wife's mom, because the husband's parents didn't even talk to him for whatever reason. I guess because, like, the abuse and stuff. Because they were both kicked out in Mexico, but I guess the wife's mom eventually moved from Mexico or whatever, I don't even know. But she lives in the U.S. in the same city as them. And the kids live with the grandma on the wife's side. And she was getting tired of watching the kids, I guess. So they wanted me to watch their kids and somehow work the food truck. And so basically they came to me and they were like, we feel like you're gonna do something to our kids, and, like, you have some sexual issues going on, because I talked about how a lot of people get molested in foster care and all the different stuff that happens, and how I didn't want to go in there, how people had already tried that. And so it was just a whole bunch of stupid stuff. But that's why I don't screw with people. And that's the thing. It's like people like that will honestly make you feel like everybody's out to get you, or at least I mean, I never feel like that, but like I said in the other video about the ageism and all that. Wait, I think it was in that. Maybe it was in the part 2 of the why I made the term "let me help you, lunatic." But people like that will make you not want to like accept help from anybody or any type of quote unquote relationship, even if it could actually be one that's not toxic. But like I said, with the situations that I'm always in, I'm going to constantly attract people like that because I look like somebody that people could uh, take advantage of in some type of way. And what they wanted was a babysitter and somebody they could pay less to work their food truck, because also they were tired of working as much as they do, and all the other people that they hire always end up quitting. Because I did eventually start hiring people around the time of and after they had fired me, and they came to me about how they didn't know if they could trust me to watch their kids and all that bull crap because of my views on CPS. And I remember when I had told this other let me help you lunatic type lady that I had met through this other let me help you this other let me help you lunatic type lady. I met this church lady through this other one. So basically I remember when I told her about it, which I called her the church lady when I was doing the evidence videos. She wait a minute. Losing my train of thought again because of brain fog. Hold up. Oh yeah. She was like, I'm sure if you were to ask them about their views on immigration, they would feel the same way. Because, like, I told her about how they felt about the CPS thing. But basically, with this Let Me Help You Lunatic lady, the church lady, quote unquote, I met her through this other lady that I would call the art lady because I didn't want to, like, give names for obvious reasons on the evidence channel. Especially because my parents watch them and they're always trying to act like people are trying to rescue me from them and, like, they need to sue somebody for trying to rescue me. Trust me, these people are, I mean, I don't know. The church lady did more than anybody else, though, to be honest. I mean, she would give me food. But, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, so the art lady, basically, people kept trying, well, not people. It was really only two people. One was a weird homeless dude I met. But him, the weird homeless dude, and some other lady kept trying to point me in the direction of this lady who supposedly ran an art program. That wasn't even true in the end. But I kept saying no, but then eventually I said yes because the other lady that I had met after the weird homeless dude had told me about how she said she'd give me some ice cream. And no, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. That was another thing. That she owned the art program, and I wanted to be an art program because it sounded like something that could help out with like my goals and all that. And I was told that she like produces music or something like that. That definitely wasn't true. That wasn't true at all. So I was told all that. Let me tell you, when I first seen this lady and I seen the look in her eyes, I knew she was about insane. I even had other people eventually tell me that I needed to be away from her. Well, get away from her. But yeah, so she got me some clothes and basically she tried to use me as a charity case to get more people to donate to her fake art program. To make a long story short, with the whole art lady situation, she would tell people things like, and she wasn't even doing that much stuff for me, but she did let me shower at her house once though. But she would tell people I help out homeless people like this girl. And first of all, running around telling everybody that it's putting me at risk because for one, I'm still doing the whole lay low thing. And also that just puts me at risk of more people who see me as a charity case or something. And she'd be like, I need people to donate more money to my art program so I can help out more people like this girl and have more services and all that bull crap. Then eventually I met this church lady through her, which the art lady didn't go to church. She was one of the real Hebrews, the ones that never even got sent in the slave trade too. She was from Africa, but she had a lot of trauma with that whole situation. Well, with her whole family situation. So, yeah. So, it was just a lot of stuff. And it's like the look in her eyes it was worse than the crazy cult lady, to be honest, the voodoo cult lady. Like I'm telling you, really when when I first saw her, I knew. I just knew it. So, met the church lady through her. There was a lot of weird stuff that I had noticed about her. First of all, I already knew there was going to be like some racial stuff, but then it's like there was this one time where there was this dude with some type of learning disability and birth defects. He sat by us at her church, and she started yelling at him for him to move and saying she needed personal space. And I just felt like that just made me feel really uncomfortable because I was like, all that is not necessary. And I was just thinking, and I even said, he was sitting here before we sat here. But yeah, that happened. Then there was this other situation that I actually had a video about where she knew about the fact that I wanted to go to college, which is why this is why I don't tell people my plans or goals, because when you do that, some people try to sabotage you. Others will try to um others will try to throw stuff back up in my face and in front of other people especially, as if they're like being a good role model or something, and they're telling me about what I should do to get my life in order. And that's happened a couple of times, which is why I really don't like to tell people any of my plans or goals or anything about me, and I don't even like to talk to people. Because people really have done that. Like, there are people that'll wait till there's a whole bunch of people around and then say things like, you should get a job and go to college. And they only say that because I already told them that I was going to do that. And they say it in a way, specifically in front of other people, to make it seem like they're trying to get me on track or something, and I don't like that. And it may sound okay right now, but like if you were in the situation, you actually knew the people, you would get how it's really just some weird thing to make them look good. I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, so there's that. Oh yeah, I remember now. So there's this whole situation where the church lady had took me to the college fair, even though she knew that I couldn't do anything till 18. And I was doing the loyal till 18 thing too. I think she knew that too, because I had got kind of cornered into telling her and the art lady that. Especially the art lady. The art lady really tried to beat that out of me, and I really didn't like that, and I didn't feel comfortable telling her any of that. So the church lady knew this, but she still drove me to the college fair, and I was not aware that that was going to happen either. And it was just weird. It's like we showed up there. She didn't tell me that was what was going to happen. Oh my gosh, I'm messing this up. And she started talking to the career counselors or whatever they're called and the financial aid advisors. Luckily, she didn't know my real name though. I at least never told anybody that. Still not even now, because I worry about people Googling me and stuff. But yeah, so she was trying to get me to sign up. And I was like, you already know that I can't do this. And so then she tried to lie to me and say that when I wasn't looking, and that when I was looking at the cafeteria, in the blink of a second, the financial aid advisor supposedly told her that she was going to help me get emancipated. Which I already have a video, I think, where I mentioned this. And the financial aid advisor never said that. She told me she never said that. And she doesn't even know why the lady even tried to do that. And it just didn't make sense to her either. But that's what Let Me Help You Lunatics do. And it's like I have tried to avoid them, but I really don't end up doing it. But of course, I put myself in these situations. I try not to, but sometimes I eventually just... I don't know, it's hard to get away from people sometimes, especially people like this. It's really hard to get away from people with these types of savior complexes. There's honestly a lot of stuff I want to edit out, but this is way too long to do that. So, here's my usual messing up and brain fog, and yeah. And this is the last part, or at least it should be, because I don't even really want to go back over all the different situations I got into. Well, no, I mentioned the last one. So, the drug lady, I mentioned her. I think I called them the drug people. I don't even know. But there was these Wait a minute. There was this lady I met. She was someone I mentioned a couple times before with the foster care cognitive dissonance. That was on all types of drugs. She was like 22. I think she's 23 now. And then she had the boyfriend. They were some of the no, they were the first people I met. Actually, they helped me move from the spot that I was in originally to this good spot in this state park type thing. And basically, they were letting me help the lunatics too. They moved me to this spot, and then they had okay, wait a minute. I dropped some number that I got from somebody in Georgia that I never called, and eventually I had to read through their like addict messages though, cause like they nothing they say really makes sense, especially in text, because of like the I don't know, I guess the brain damage or something. So I couldn't really tell what they were saying, but I could tell enough. Basically, I dropped some number from some dude, and they called the number to try to figure out more info about me and figure out how old I was because they didn't believe how old I was, and a whole bunch of other bullcrap. The person that they called didn't even know how old I was. So they told them some age that was wrong. I can't even remember what age it was. I think it was like 14 or something, but they still felt like I was 12, they being the drug people. But they asked that person a whole bunch of questions about me and about where I was from, and the person told them where they had met me, and that happened, and their messages weren't making sense either, so it was scaring me because it sounded like they were reaching out to some resource center or something, somebody that was claiming that they knew me but didn't. That's what it sounded like. But eventually they admitted to me that I had dropped the number and they had called the number. And it was from some random dude that I don't even remember the name of. And then they had told me that after they had moved me to the new spot, which was a really good spot to be honest, they told me that they had called CPS, but CPS never came. And I was like, why would you do that when you already know how CPS has you running around on all types of drugs and all that, and has you living with some rich white supremacists that had you and your siblings from Haiti scrubbing the floor with toothbrushes? But you'll call them on me. And then I've seen them a couple times since then recently, and now they're acting like the whole situation never happened. But I mean, you guys are the ones that texted me and told me that you called CPS, but now they're acting like they don't remember that. This is also the same lady that I had to call that day when I got arrested, and the police almost ran me over to pretend that she was my sister. I was lucky that she was able to do that. And it's like, these people, it's not really that they're bad people either. The food truck people, I wouldn't say they're bad people, but they definitely have like some serious childish issues going on because like I kind of forgot about all the bullcrap that happened, and so I had seen them recently, and I said hey to them because I forgot about all that bullcrap because like all that stuff becomes repressed memories for me after a while. So I forgot about the fact that they had also told me not to talk to them anymore either, because basically there was a whole situation where like honestly, I think this was when I was still living on the mountain cliff. No, actually, no. After I got kicked out the mountain cliff, I still had a yeast infection because there was this guy who lived there, and I asked him if he had some tissue or something. Because I had to use the bathroom, and of course, I mean, when you're homeless, you have to get used to using the bathroom outside. So I asked him if he had some tissue. Because there was me and two other people in different areas of the mountain. Luckily, it was just that many, because usually it's more in areas like this, but it was only two other people. He said yeah, but he didn't read the package and I didn't either till after the fact, after the pain and the weird feelings kicked in. It was disinfectant wipes. So I had got a yeast infection. I had it. My throat's hurting again. I had it till uh, a week after, no, 2 weeks after I had got kicked out the mountain cliff. So I remember I had asked the dude's wife at the food truck if she like had any advice for this, because like she was a female, but I don't know what it was, but it's like questions like that really just seemed like she didn't want me to talk to her at all, to be honest. She was just really weird and really childish. And it's like, she acted like I asked her something like out of pocket, but I felt like that was like a genuine question to ask. But it made her feel some type of way. So she had told her husband about it. And so basically, she would tell her husband stuff. And then he didn't speak English. So he would stand there while she would tell me about what he was saying, or supposedly saying anyway. They were just really weird. I really think it was just like a lot of self-hatred with them. And then a lot of racial stuff. And then the illegal immigrant superiority complex they had too. I feel like it was all that put together. And yeah, so what was I talking about before I had mentioned that? I think I remember what I was talking about now. So yeah, it's not that these people are really bad people, it's just that they have issues that they're ignoring, and so they try to like go out and play savior, but they're really not in a position to help anybody. And they also have bad intentions behind it. Honestly, the only person that was really in the position to help anybody was the church lady.